Stephen, illustrate that with your story about the thief trying to break into a lock.
Let me give you a homespun illustration. Imagine we've got a bike outside the building here, and there is but it's locked with a nice 4-dial bike lock. Is it more likely that a thief will be able to open the lock as a result of a random search for the combination, or is it more likely that the thief will fail? Now, in a way, it's a trick question because it depends on how much time the thief has to try to open the combination. We know that there's a lot of different combinations. In fact, with a 4-dial lock, there's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, or 10,000 possible arrangements of those digits, only one of which will open the lock. If the thief only has a couple minutes, the thief will, by random means, only be able to sample a very small number of those combinations, and so it's overwhelmingly more likely in that case that the thief will fail. But we could imagine a situation where, say, we gave the thief several days to do it, and he was able to sample more than half of the combinations, in which case it would become more likely that he would succeed than he would fail. But what if we change the illustration a little bit? What if we give the thief that same, say, 24-hour period, and now we confront him with this lock, a lock with 10 dials on it? Now, well, with 10 dials, you're not just adding combinations, you're multiplying by 10 with each new dial. So for a 10-dial lock, you actually have 10 to the 10 possible combinations, or 10 billion combinations. So even in a day, a full 24-hour period, the thief is only going to be able to sample a very tiny fraction of that total 10 billion. So in that case, it's overwhelmingly more likely that a random search will fail to find the meaningful combination that will open the lock. Mm-hmm. Now, the question in biology is the situation for finding a new gene or protein more like the first case, where the lock has a reasonably small number of combinations in relation to the time available, or is it more like the second case, where the number of combinations is so vast that even with a great deal of time, there's not going to be enough time to sample more than a small fraction of the combinations?
And what is it?
Well, it turns out that the biological system confronting us is not like the 4-dial lock with the day, it's much more like the 10-dial lock. In fact, there's a scientist named Douglas Axe who's given a very precise estimate of this, and he has shown that that it's much more like a bike lock with 77 dials, which is one for every functional arrangement of those letters in the DNA code. There are 10 to the 77th arrangements that will give you gibberish, that is a non-functional, non-folding amino acid chain rather than a functional protein. And so, with that many combinations to search, even if you have 3.5 billion or 4 billion years of biological history to do the searching, by a random means, you're not going to have enough time to sample but a small little fraction of the different combinations. And so it's going to be overwhelmingly more likely that a random search, one relying on random mutation, will fail to find even one functional gene or protein in the known history of life on Earth. That's the upshot of Axe's calculations. And I go into this and explain this in more detail in the book Darwin's Doubt.